case you don't already know her, the one and only, the writer, and obviously the star of The Smile of Her, Golden Globe Award winner. Audience, thank you. Aren't they a good audience?
I was just going to say, you were an incredible audience. I love you, and you make it my job so much easier when you give me back stuff during the performance. It really is it's such an exchange.
It's a really great exchange. So we have got about 25 minutes or so, and I am going to get the ball rolling up here with Christine, but I'm going to then turn to you. It's so much more interesting now that we've all got ourselves in the room together to have questions from you. And I just ask that when we come to audience questions, you raise your hand, wait for me to call on you, and then my colleague Leonie over here has got a microphone. She's going to get the microphone to you as quickly as possible so that everybody can hear your question as well. Just to make sure you know how to raise your hands, I like to start with a few questions from the audience. You can answer these too, okay? So first of all, anybody on social media in the audience? Hands? Nobody's on social media? No. Okay, great. For those of you on social media, please do feel free to turn your phones on, but keep them on silent. You may take photos, videos of the Q&A, and if you share them on your social platforms, it really helps spreading word about the show. I think I recognize some people over there. Hello. Hi, Arabella. And if you're on Instagram in particular, the handles for the show, for Christine Lahti, and the theater are there handily for you, so please do tag them. Very good. Any mothers in the audience? Any daughters in the audience? Any feminists in the audience? That is good to see, great. And anyone who knows they already have a question they want to ask? Everyone's feeling shy, but we'll warm them up, shall we? Okay, but seriously, don't leave it to the end, because this happens all the time. We get right to the end of the amount of time that we have available, and suddenly all the hands go up, and we can't answer them. So, Christine, we just watched so much of your incredible story, your feminist journey in this beautiful play. But before there was a play, there was a book.
Yes.
Oh, and this is difficult with the microphone, but I have a prop. There's a wonderful book that Christine has written called An Unreliable Witness.
True Stories from an Unreliable Eyewitness, A Feminist Coming of Age, is my collection of personal essays.
It is. And sorry, I have a prop I'm going to show you. It is available to buy in the UK, on Amazon. And this is the book. There we go. It's a really, really wonderful book. And if you enjoyed some of the stories here that you saw on stage, I think you will get a lot out of delving deeper into them. But so that book was released, correct me if I get anything wrong, that book was released in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you start writing it? What was the impetus for writing the book in the first place?
I was going to write a one-woman show, a play first, and I started writing these essays, and I performed them in cabarets and little bars in New York City, these little, tiny little cabarets, just to kind of hone them, because I wasn't used to writing myself, and that's how I shaped them by audience's reaction. And then I got an offer to publish a book, so I thought, well, I'll do that first, and then I'll get around to writing the play.
Okay. The book came out in 2018. You're now doing this version of the play. The play, I think you did first in 2023 in the States, and then brought it here.
Yes.
Timing 2018, 2023, I hate to get political straight away, but first Trump administration, second Trump administration? Any coincidence there?
I think my need to tell this story has a lot to do with the Trump administration. I do think that this going back to, a time like in the 50s, this kind of last gasp of the patriarchy of these men, and a lot of women, let's be fair, there's such an urgency about this right now. I think it's so important that we help young men understand what it means to be a man, which really to me is just being a human. Kindness, empathy, you know, like a human being, and like all this gender stuff is all made up, and I think they're really struggling with the manosphere. I think women, there's a backlash to Time's Up and Me Too, and women are losing their rights in the States, less so here, but I know it's all over the world. And I just feel the timing of this play is really critical.
Actually, that was another question I was going to ask the audience. Who in the audience thinks things are getting worse in terms of rights? Who thinks it's getting better? No hands. No hands. Okay, and thank you though for bringing it to London. Why did you want to bring it to London?
I got an offer to do it here in London. And you know, where opportunity strikes is where I go. The truth is, it's a lot cheaper to do a production here than in New York. And that's a huge deal for a small play like this. That's, you know, edgy and not exactly a commercial, obviously commercial play. It may be, you know, impactful and important to people, but it's tough, it's risky. So it's just safer to do it with less of, you know, the need for financial support.
How has the play changed since you did it first in the States and then bringing it here? You worked with a new director and dramaturg here in the UK, didn't you? Tell us about that.
I worked with Melissa Annis, who is extraordinary. She's brilliant. I worked with Robert Egan, who's also extraordinary and brilliant, but he is a man and he is a feminist, and I adore him. But I was ready for a female lens to help me. Someone who I just understood every single thing that I was talking about. What changed primarily was the structure. It used to end with Carol's story and my story, the two rape stories, and at the end we brought out the lighthouses, and the girl and I made a wish. We wished the world would be more fair. And Melissa convinced me that ending it with my mom flying was really important, that it doesn't take away from the impact of the wish that the girl makes, or Carol's story or my story. It just gives more hope at the end, and that the primary relationship in the play is between my mom and I. And one of the last, I think, ways I'm trying to free myself from this patriarchy is in the ways in which I judged my mom. And for me to be able to understand fully the beauty of her smile and why she smiled is one of my last ways of freeing myself from this white room, which I'm trying to from the very beginning, like, why is this room holding me still? And that's one of the last acts of that.
I have to say, within about 2 minutes of meeting Christine earlier today, I'd already seen the play, read part of the book, and I had to confess to you how much this story resonated with me as an American, as a woman, as a feminist, as an activist myself, and so much of the story of my mother. I saw my mother in your mother, and that relationship between mothers and daughters. I know Melissa has described it in some ways, and I guess this comes from you. It's almost like a love letter to your mother. Do you feel that?
In part, I do think it's a love letter to her, yeah, ultimately. I mean, it's obviously about struggling through a maze of misogyny and sexism through my family, how I survived that, and then in show business and getting through all that. But ultimately, yeah, I think that's the primary relationship.
And tell us also how important it was for you to be on stage with a young actor. Tonight we had the wonderful Jessamine.
Jessamine. Mm-hmm.
And then you also have, and on other nights you were working with,
Isabella Ford, yeah.
Isabella.
Who's also incredible.
So they're 11 and 12 years old. And
yeah.
why is that important that they're on stage with you and at that age?
Okay, so in the Berkshires 3 summers ago, we did it with a 23-year-old short actress who played 8 years old and 10 years old. And she was amazing, but it wasn't the same. And I really wanted that innocence. I really wanted and it's tough to cast an 11 and 12-year-old because you have to hire two, and they have to have chaperones. It's a big deal. But to me, it was so important to have not only a scene partner of a truly 11-year-old girl playing 8, playing my younger self, but then when she's playing my inner child, I really wanted that unfettered, unmolded, sort of, like, what's the word, oppressed spirit to be on stage. And when she says, I wish the world would be more fair, will it be? There's something so moving to me about that innocence saying that and saying it to all of you, will it be? As opposed to an adult saying it. And so it just meant a lot to me.
And fantastic performance as well from Destiny. Okay, great. Lovely. Warmed up. Let's Leonie, could we get... Hold on just a moment. Just wait for the microphone and we'll come to you as soon as the microphone comes to you. Oh, hi. Oh, Arabella's mom. Fantastic. Yes, Arabella's mom gets a round of applause as well. Mother and daughter have come together. How lovely is that?
Thank you very much. I much enjoyed it. What playwrights particularly influence you when you think about writing a play? Or did you have any? I mean, is it Beckett or
maybe a female playwright
or Marianne Margulies? I mean, there are many, live and dead playwrights who write monologues as well. So I wondered who influenced you.
Yeah.
Lisa Crone, I don't know if you know Lisa Crone, Wendy Wasserstein, Beth Henley, every female playwright, honestly, has inspired me, but those in particular, yeah.
And this touches on a question I wanted to follow up with as well. In the play, you mentioned at one point that you did not have strong female role models growing up, but you've met a lot since then, haven't you?
Yes.
So apart from necessarily playwrights, who else has influenced you as a kind of feminist, as a woman, as an actor?
So Gloria Steinem, I'm going to drop that name. She's my friend. I know. And I got to play her in a play about Gloria Steinem's life. That was remarkable. But she's been a friend for a long time. Yes.
A few fans in the audience?
You saw it?
You saw the play? No, you're just a fan of Gloria Steinem. Yeah.
So when I heard about Gloria Steinem when I was in college, as I show in this play, I honestly thought women were biologically inferior. I didn't know that it was all made up. And so Gloria was this life jacket. She gave me this second wave of feminism, was literally a life jacket that I used to navigate through a world that I discovered did not like or respect women very much. And it still is a life jacket to me. I am so grateful to women like Gloria and so many incredible women that paved the way for women like me.
Fantastic. I'm looking for other hands now. Fantastic. Let's, Leonie, let's stay on this side of the room to save you running all the way around again. And then as soon as he's asked the question, you go back on that side. Leonie, as soon as he's asked the question, you can start moving with the microphone over there. Thank you.
You referred to the last gasp of the patriarchy. It seems to me a very, very long gasp. Why and what's to be done?
I love that that question has come from a man, so thank you
It's
as
so
an ally.
true. It's so true. It is a loud, screaming, horrific gasp. The white knuckling of it is, it's like engraved in all of our backs. I just think it's an overreaction to women finally, to Me Too and Time's Up. And, women are, and black women, for God's sakes, that we're all too uppity, and we are taking the place of the supremacy of white men, and they're panicked about it. But I think what a lot of young men are realizing is that the patriarchy isn't serving them either. And that's what I want to talk about with my father. He was a wonderful man. He was a victim of his times. He played his role brilliantly, but he was robbed of so much humanity. He wasn't allowed to feel anything. He wasn't allowed to be vulnerable. His sons were taught that they could never ask for help. I don't know if they were ever taught how to love. They can't be vulnerable. How do you love without being vulnerable? If you're needing to control or dominate, love is not possible. Bell Hooks taught me that. She's amazing. So I just feel like a lot of young men are getting it, that it's not serving them and they don't want any part of it. So I think with their help as allies, and obviously women, we know, and men like you, we gotta tear the motherfucking thing down.
But also, what about some young women as well? I think something you capture so well in the play is the internalized misogyny.
Yes.
That very often those who work hardest against feminists are other women who feel threatened by it.
Internalized misogyny is something that I really try to grapple with in this play. It is a lifelong struggle for me. I still have it. I mean, to me, that I didn't even want to mention my story because I didn't think it mattered. My brilliant director and dramaturge just went, do you understand why you're saying it doesn't matter? It's because of this internalized misogyny. Still, at the age of 76, I don't know if I really matter. I mean, that's a lifelong deal. I mean, yeah, on good days I know I do, but it's a lifelong deal. So many women, I think, trad wives, you know, that are anti-feminist, I think they had a lot of the Kool-Aid. They drank a lot of the Kool-Aid, and they think that they're getting goodies out of this hierarchy of human worth. At least they're not at the bottom of the totem pole, they think.
If you are on Instagram, I encourage you to go and look at Christine's reel in which she responds to a young woman who says, I'm not a feminist, watch me cook. And then Christine shows how she cooks. Okay, down here, please.
Hi there. I just wanted to ask, as a mother to a young daughter, if your daughter wanted to go to acting, for example, would you support her? And would you be worried about her going into show business?
Oh, is it still a problem? It's women going into show business today?
Someone laughed really loud. You know. It's a horrible problem. I mean, I think it's better because men are now aware that they could be canceled. Not that many are, but yeah, it's still a problem. And
So the casting couch is still a problem, as you
I
said.
think it is, yeah. I don't think it's as obvious now. I think men are being called out for abusive behavior and having to apologize and be accountable, so maybe they think twice now. My daughter is a singer-songwriter. That was her music in the play, and at the end, and she is, she's dealt with a lot of really, really asshole men in the music business, which is in some ways even worse, I think. But she's a really, radical intersectional feminist, as she self-identifies, and she's not going to put up with much shit.
Now, it's not just, sexual abuse that you have to deal with. I know also it's just about creating work for yourself that's important. You've described, I know friends of mine who are artists in the audience will identify with this, that today you can't just be an actor, you need to be a quadruple threat, is what you called it. So
Yes.
explain what that means.
So I still do when I can teach acting, and I try to tell my students, especially the female students, that they should be a quadruple threat: to act, to write, to direct, and produce, because they must create their own stuff. They can star in it, or they can direct it, or they can tell their stories, and that's partly what I've done. I've given myself a pretty good part here. And I get to tell the stories that I get to say things that are really important to me as a feminist and as an activist, and that's, as an artist, that's like the dream come true. Often as an actress, I feel like I'm a little bit of a puppet of someone else's vision, of someone else's message. But, if you're doing a play by Chekhov or by Wendy Wasserstein, it's like, I'm so happy to be saying these words, they're so brilliant. But it's also important to create your own stuff.
Nice. And I think, Leonie, there's another hand just in the same row, here in the area. Are there other hands? And I'll direct Leonie to you. Okay, yeah, so after this person, then go back with your rose, Leonie, and we'll move on. Yes, please.
Hi. First of all, congratulations. I feel like I'm really moved. I want my daughter to see this. She's 18. She's going to drama, to theater, and so, and she can write also.
Amazing.
I also want to say very quickly, I many years ago had assisted at the New School Richard Brown's course.
Yes.
And I got to say hi to you because I think it was at Justice for All Blossom. Hi.
Hi.
Two questions. The structure of it, or the maybe not the structure, what you decided to keep in, because what I was one thing impressed with was that after the Emmys, you didn't go on about showbiz much anymore, and you could have, but it kept to the family, and I really liked that.
Return to the family, I think, very conscious return.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other thing was, I wondered how your own family has reacted to this, if they've seen it, the fact that.
So the
Great question.
Great question. The
And
people
sorry,
that,
just,
yeah.
Leonie, who's next? If you could move back.
The people I talk about in the show, in the play, are no longer with us, except for my younger brother, and he has this much in it, and he's the trumper that I talk about. He has not read it or seen it, but I do give a disclaimer in the program that memory is very subjective, and how I remember things are not in any way possibly how he remembers, because it is so subjective. And I think that'll, I hope he won't be mad at me, but it's very, my sister in Australia, she's still with us, and I'm not in touch with her, so.
Can I give another plug for your book? Because True Stories from an Unreliable Witness, I think, you go into this even in more detail about how everyone's memories are different, and you're not even sure in many of the stories if you're remembering it correctly. Yeah. But it's still how you remember something says something.
Yeah, like that when my mom was dropped off on the way to Torch Lake. That was a little poetic license. She was really dropped off in the middle of Chicago, but it just, in terms of the storytelling, which was even scarier because it was this big city. But I remember that story, and I asked my brothers and sisters if they had remembered it, and they said, no, I remember something weird happened, but no, not really. It was so impactful to me. It was a traumatic moment that I thought, my dad has the power to disappear my mom. It was amazing to me that they didn't have any real memory of it. So that's what I mean about subjective memory and selective memory. That trauma, codes itself in different ways in people, and it didn't even register on their radar.
Okay, very good. Who's got the microphone now? Yes.
Hello, thank you so much for gifting us your story. I was wondering, you go into very personal, very painful memories that you decided to share with your audience. As a performer, how do you prepare each night to live again and again what, yes, you've managed to put them in writing, work on them and exercise them, but I could see from your performance they're still very raw and very painful. So how do you protect yourself from your own memories and pain while gifting us your performance?
It's such a
beautifully put.
Beautiful question, thank you. When I did it in the Berkshires 3 summers ago, I really thought I needed to start therapy again, because it was traumatic to relive all of this. Somehow here, my preparation is just to be relaxed and open and follow whatever impulses I'm having at the moment. I don't plan if I'm going to be upset or cry, and nothing's planned. It's all whatever moves me in the moment. So if I'm just open and present, so that's what I do. I try to. There's a meditation, and I listen to some music, but I'm not feeling the same trauma that I felt 3 years ago. There's something maybe therapeutic about it that ultimately, and maybe it's the ending. Maybe it's this new ending with my mom that I feel is so hopeful that I'm leaving people with hope more than the last version, and maybe that's helping. But thank you for that question.
Okay, right, Leonie, just in the middle there. I see you. Bridge, nice. Let's hear it, Bridge.
Hello, oh, thank you so much. It was just beautiful. I had a question, possibly two. I have a question about your mother, and I wondered, and your father actually, did they have favourites? As such, were you a favourite? And also, I'm going to ask it because I noticed that sometimes you had to clear your throat, and I just wondered what was happening.
So I have asthma, and some days I'm fine, and I guess today's there's a lot of pollution in the air or something. That's all it was.
The
But-
London plane trees.
Is that
It's
what's
the
going
plane
on?
trees, yes. We all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sick, I feel great, so it's just, it's like post-nasal drip, if you really want to know all the details. It's gory and disgusting. We would ask my parents all the time, who's your favorite, and they would never admit to anything. But I will say that because my dad's love was conditional, based on success, honestly, I think I was, up there because all I wanted was trophies to get his love, to get his approval. And my success he was very proud of that. And, was not as loving or proud of some of the others that didn't reach that pinnacle of success. My mom's love was unconditional, and that's the gift that she gave me, and that was beautiful.
I think we have time for a couple more questions. Any more hands? Oh, yeah, now see, they're all going up. Shall we hear them all?
Sure.
Okay, let's just hear them all, and then Christine will answer as many of them as we can. So, and then others that had questions still, raise your hand. We'll take two at once, so right next to each other, yep.
Thank you, it was wonderful, truly wonderful. I was so interested to hear you saying that this is a play that has really evolved and changed over time. I really wanted to know, in a way, how long has this taken, this journey? And is it over yet?
Well, that's a good question. And then to your left?
Right, yes, it's a completely different topic though. Do you want to have it right now?
Yes, please.
So yes, I just wanted to say it was wonderful, beautiful place, so much more meaningful that you are actually also the actress of your own story. So in front of us, it makes it a documentary play, which I think is very profound. And I was listening to the gentleman before, wishing that his daughter was here, and I was thinking, well, I wish my daughter was here, but also I wish my boy would be here as well, my son. And then I suddenly thought, I wonder how this play actually lands on young men, because every single man figure is quite negative in the play, apart from your husband, that you don't really say very much about that. And so I'm wondering, have you considered how such an important message might actually land on the very patriarchy that was the young patriarchy that we're trying to get rid of?
Okay, so tell us how long the journey is, and is it over yet? And how does the play land with young men, if I can paraphrase it?
So I guess the play is not over yet, because I had a close friend come and say, they really like the old ending better without mom at the end, and maybe that was too neat a bow to tie it up. And at the end, in the Berkshires, I will just share that the lighthouse started to shine, and the little girl made the wish, I wish the world would be more fair. Will it be? Was the last line of the play, and the lighthouse went on to the audience. And it was a kind of challenge of, come on, let's do this. I love that. I think, in this iteration, I was happy to try this new way, but I'm tempted to try it the other way again. I don't know which is better, but so it's probably still going to evolve. The next production will be different. For young men, so I've had some responses from young men that it's really been gratifying, because they also are anxious to shed this masculine role that they've been given, that is a straitjacket in terms of not being able to be fully emotional, not to be able to admit they need help, or be vulnerable. So there's so many ways, and they want to be fathers. As Boris Diamond says, until we value men in the home, women will not be valued in the workplace in that way. So they want to be fathers. They value that, and yet, they're told, you got to go provide and not have any relationship with your kids. The old sort of definition of masculinity. There are a lot of bad guys in my play. I will add, not only is my husband a shining star, but my son, who recognizes my mom's, the beauty of her smile before I can. So he gets a nice flood.
I wonder if there are any younger men in the audience who either want to respond to that or ask a question to take us out for the evening. Okay, no pressure, no pressure.
There's someone. Oh, he's pointing.
I can't. There's oh yeah, the usher. Okay, great.
Oh, Chris, is that Chris?
Hi.
Hello, I'm one of the ushers here. Your show is absolutely amazing. I think everyone agrees. My question to you is, like, for people with autism, it's kind of emotional to watch your show because you talk about people dying and not being able to be here where they are today. Like, how does it affect you? And if anyone wants to, like, see the show, would you tell anyone who's able to come and watch?
That is a great question. And can I just add on to it? I don't know if she's here, but there was a wonderful woman who spoke to me before this evening and said that she wanted to stay for the Q&A, but she wasn't sure because she knew what some of the subject matter was and was worried that it could trigger her and that she might not be able to delve further into it. So it's a really, really good question.
So that's why we have the trigger warnings in the lobby, very important to me, and in the program, I hope. You know, this is triggering for a lot of people, and the good news is that, you know, people like you know, share your stories and feel like this is maybe a safe place to tell their own stories. And in fact, opening night, a woman came up to me and said, "I feel so seen." And that was like, okay, I can stop doing this play now. That's my goal. She felt seen. Another man came up to me and told me a story of his own sexual abuse that I don't know how many people he's told. It was really amazing that he confided in me about this story. And so I just feel that that's such a privilege for me as an artist, that in any way that I'm able to inspire people to, you know, tell their stories, because I do believe there's healing in the telling. I really do believe that. Potential healing in the telling. But thank you for your question.
And if you haven't got the program, that is just one other great reason to get it. There's a wonderful piece from Christine in it, as well as a director's note, and there's a list of organizations that can support on some of the matters that are raised in the play. I want to, have I missed anything really important, Christine?
No.
Okay. Right, then I do want to end on the quote. You've touched on it there in the program. You say, "My hope is that this play reads as more than a family study. It's a testament to the fact that the patriarchy doesn't work for the entire world for anybody. It's not serving humankind." Is that the message? Yeah. Is that the main message you want us to take away?
Yes. It's a hierarchy of human worth. It's all made up. It doesn't work. It's not serving men or women. Let's be done with it already. And as soon as we get that guy out of the White House, I think we'll...
Can you give us any hope for November and beyond?
Well, if he doesn't shut down the elections, I think there's a lot of hope. I really do. And I don't know if he's really going to be able to, you know, keep us from voting. I just can't imagine it. I want the men that hurt those women in the Epstein files to be held accountable. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And I think my hope is once the Democrats take over the Senate and the House, that we will bring all of those guys, women, whoever, hold them accountable. It's just outrageous.
Well, that is serious hope. So, audience, you've been amazing.
Amazing.
You are now ambassadors for Smile of Her. It's here at Marylebone Theatre until the 29th of August, right?
Yes.
29th of August. So please, will you go forth, tell your daughters, your sons, your friends, your neighbors, strangers in the street, whatever. Put it on social media. Will you do that? Will you come again? Great. So once we give a big clap to Christine, we're also going to, if you don't mind, pose for a couple of photographs. So those of you who do want to take photos to share on social media, further photos, please do. This has been such a privilege and such a wonderful audience. I thank you all very much. And please join me in thanking Christine Lahti.